I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more energy. I'm not ready yet. I don't have enough energy. I'm not ready yet. Out of energy. I'm not ready yet. I'm low on energy. I'm not ready yet. I'm out of energy. Not ready yet. Our energy. I'm not ready yet. ready yet. Need more energy. I need more time. Out of energy. I need more time. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. that you're alive.
Fortune Feimster is coming to Little Rock.
What's up, guys? War here. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm bringing you another leveling build from 1 to 50 utilizing twisting blades. All right, guys, let's get into the skills so you guys can see how this build works. We're taking puncture all the way into fundamental puncture so we can throw 3 blades, which gives us maximum opportunities to make multiple enemies vulnerable at the same time after 2 throws. Then we come down to twisting blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing this out all the way up to advanced twisting blades. I know that the cooldown reduction has been significantly reduced from 0.25 to 0.10, but this is still the best one. However, there has been really good testing with improved twisting blades, which dazes enemies while they are impaled, which is really cool. But I still like the cooldowns because we want to use our mobility skills as much as possible. Then we got 2 points in the sturdy for damage reduction, 3 points in the siphoning strike for sustain because we're then we're taking 3 points in several step. Critically striking an enemy gives us we're going to be very fast. Damage. If you have daggers, that's fine against healthy enemies, but try to use swords because you get the flat 9% increased times damage, which is just even better than the 15% just to healthy enemies because the damage is through the entire time, not just when they're healthy. 3 points into concussive because of our poison trap. We're going to knock them down. Shadow step into methodical shadow step to stun when we get away. Guys, this build works exactly for hardcore, so if you are using it, you have to hit shadow step. This is our get out of jail. And we have dash, agility, and move speed to get around the map. And we're coming down to shroud into subverting dark shroud and move speed. Poison trap all the way down to subverting poison trap for 10% of the very good low bosses, single the enhanced poison trap. Then we max out and create some more damage as well as max some more damage. Then we come down to demon skills. We're not ready yet. 3 points with debilitating toxins to reduce damage to enemies. And then alchemy advantage. And we're taking the advantage here. You can just take this away if you really want to. Then coming down, no ultimate skills. We are hit. 3 points in the
I'm not ready yet.
Now our key passive is going to be momentum. Alright, cutthroat skills, grant a stack of momentum. Raise something, hit a daze, frozen enemy, and increase the stacks. Okay? While at 3 stacks, we get 20% increased damage, very strong energy generation, and more. While you're going inside the blades, this is going to be very easy. You're going to run around, hit somebody with twisted blades, run around, hit somebody with twisted blades. When the blades come back, we're going to be able to hit multiple enemies with melee or cutthroat skills. So getting these 3 momentum stacks is going to be pretty easy. Now into the gear and specializations, guys. Our specialization is going to be inner sight. At first, while you're leveling to 15, you take combo points, but as soon as you hit 25, you're going to take inner sight, because once we max this out, we can just spam twisting blades. This is very, very strong against bosses and single target damage. Now, into our gear, guys. Our gear is going to use some aspects. Aspects only. This is 1 to 50. No necessary legendary powers that you're going to need. So, in the chest, you're going to take the might.
I'm not ready yet.
Rapid for more basic attacks. And then we're going to do disobedience for more armor.
I need more time. I need more energy.
Then we're taking gravity. When you're vulnerable enemies, 50 times increase energy. This is phenomenal. Then we have vent and loop. Making an enemy vulnerable has a I really like this one. And then down here you do have edge masters. Okay, so those are the abilities that you need for the build. Now let's talk about this real quick. So you're gonna be in and out of combat. You're gonna always have that shroud up at all times on cooldown. You're gonna use your dash and battle step to kind of get around. Use dash, shadow step if you have to. but it does give you a really good stun. Always drop. Then you're going to pop puncture to get our energy back, and then you're going to run up to an enemy, hit twisting blades, maybe once or twice, run to another enemy, hit twisting blades, and then you're going to allow the blades to come back to you. So let's go showcase the build really quick, and you guys can see how powerful this build is. It's a really, really fun build. I really enjoy it. I'm trying to do hardcore with ranged, but this build is really fun. So poison, right? Swing, it just slaps, right? Alright, just allow your stuff to just go. And then we have inner sight, and you just spam the trap. Alright, you're gonna get around the map. Oh, butcher! Awesome. What a butcher run this video. This is great. Give me inner sight. Spam it. Knock them down. Then we're 3 points into concussive because of our poison trap. We're a squishy rogue. Then we're taking 2 throws. Then we come down to twisting blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing this out all the way up to advanced twisting blades. I know that the cooldown reduction has been significantly reduced from point. We can throw 3 blades, which gives us maximum opportunities to make multiple enemies vulnerable at the same time after 2 throws. Then we come down to twisting blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing this out all the way up to advanced twisting blades. I know that the cooldown reduction has been significantly reduced from 0.25 to 0.10, but this is still the blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing 3 blades, which gives us maximum opportunities to make multiple enemies vulnerable at the same time after 2 throws. Then we come down to twisting blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing this out all the way up to advanced twisting, all the way into fundamental puncture, so we can throw 3 blades, which gives us maximum opportunities to make multiple enemies vulnerable at the same time after 2 throws. Then we come down to twisting blades, which is our main skill. We're maxing this out all the way up to advanced twisting blades. I know that the cooldown reduction has been significantly reduced from 0.25 to 0.10, but this is still the best one. However, there has been really good testing with improved twisting blades, which dazes enemies while they are impaled, which is really cool. But I still like the cooldowns because we want to use our mobility skills as much as possible. Then we got 2 points in the sturdy for damage reduction, 3 points in the siphoning strike for sustain because we're a squishy rogue. Then we're taking 3 points into stutter step. Critically striking an enemy gives us more movement speed. We are going to be very fast in this build. Then we're coming down to our agility skills. We're going to have 3 points into weapon mastery for more damage. If you have daggers, that's fine against healthy enemies, but try to use swords because you get the flat 9% increased times damage, which is just even better than the 15% just to healthy enemies because the damage is through the entire time, not just when they're healthy. 3 points into concussive because of our poison trap. We're going to knock them down. Shadow step into methodical shadow step to stun when we get away. Guys, this build works exactly for hardcore. So if you are using it, you have to pick shadow step. If you have a choice between dash and shadow step, always shadow step. So this is our get out of jail free card against crowd control effects. We're unstoppable. Then we have dash into discipline dash for more agility and move speed to get around the map. Then we're coming down to our little sneaky rogue skills, and we're going to be taking Dark Shroud into Subverting Dark Shroud for move speed. Poison Trap all the way down into Subverting Poison Trap for 10% increased damage against enemies standing inside our Poison Trap. This is very good against elites, bosses, world bosses, single target damage, very strong. The Enhanced Poison Trap is what's going to knock them down. Then we max out Exploit for more damage as well as Malice for more damage against vulnerable enemies. Then we come down to imbuement skills. We're not using any imbuement skills. We're going to take 1 point into Deadly Venom for more damage against poison enemies. 3 points into Debilitating Toxins to reduce damage by poison enemies, which should happen pretty often. And then Alchemical Advantage. Then we're taking the advantage here for increased attack speed. It's just 1 point. You can take this away if you really wanted to, put more defense in if you want. This is just really, really nice. Then we're coming down, no ultimate skills. We are taking 3 points in intervention for more energy on a lucky hit. 3 points in trap mastery for increased critical strike chance against vulnerable enemies. And then 1 point into adrenaline rush for regen. And then 3 points into haste to get around the map really, really fast. Now our key passive is going to be momentum. All right, cutthroat skills grant a stack of momentum for 8 seconds. If we hit a dazed, frozen, enemy, hit an enemy from behind, we increase the stacks, okay? While at 3 stacks, we get 20% increased damage reduction, 30% increased energy regeneration, and 1 speed. While you're going around inside of the 50 blades, this is going to be very you run around, blades come back, so you'll be able to get stacks is going to be pretty nice. Now into the gear specializations, guys. Specialization is going to be inner sight. At first, while you're leveling to 15, you get power points. But as soon as you hit 25, you're going to get inner sight. Because once we max this out, you can just spam bosses and single target damage. Now, into our gear, guys. Our gear is going to use some aspects. Aspects only is 150, no necessary. So, in the chest, you're going to have rapid for more then we're taking our amulet, out of energy. Then we're taking Ravenous. Killing a vulnerable enemy gives you 50 times increased energy. Then we have the making an enemy vulnerable has a chance to give us critical. So I really like this one. And then down here you do have Edge Master if you really want to use it. Okay, so those are the abilities that you need to build. Now let's talk about this real quick. So you're going to be in and out of combat. You're going to always have Dark Shroud up at all times on cooldown. You're going to use your dash and Shadow Step to kind of get down. Use dash first, save Shadow Step if you have to. But it does give you stun. Always drop the shot if you can. And then you're going to pop puncture, get back. Run up to an enemy, hit with the twice, run to another enemy, hit with the head. So let's go showcase the build really quick. You guys can see this is really fun build. Really enjoy it. I'm trying to do hard forward range, but this one is really fun. The poison, right? Swing, it just slaps, right? Right? You just allow your stuff to just go. And then we have inner sight, and we just spam, drop our trap, and they're dead. Right? We're gonna get around the map. Oh, Butcher! Awesome. What a Butcher run for the video.
I'm not ready yet.
This is great. Inner sight. Spam it.
I'm not ready yet.
This is so good for the video. Get my inner sight back. Spam twisting blades. Drop poison trap.
Can't carry anymore.
Butcher is really tough. See, when he's stunning me, we just want to do that. Back up our stacks here. Headbutting me again. Spam twisting blades. He needs to stop headbutting me. Spam, spam, spam. Poison trap. A lot of potions. A lot of potions. We gotta be strategic.
I'm not ready yet.
Spam twisting blades. Oh! Oh my god, and he's dead. Let's go! We got the Butcher kill. Boy, that came down to the wire, man. You guys can see how strong the build is against the Butcher on World Tier 2. He is just so aggro. What a really good kill for the build. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see our chest piece. All right. But you guys can see how really cool the build is. It is very strong. And you just absolutely slap. Again, drop that. Go over here. your Twisting Blades going, drop the Poison Trap, you know, hit a couple enemies, right? Allow them to come back. You're constantly moving with this build, which is just really good. Get the stun. Constantly moving around. You guys can see the build is just so strong, right? The build just absolutely tanks. That is Twisting Blades, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Make sure to like the video if you guys have enjoyed it. I know Twisting Blades is a big word around core, and it's like really cool. I can't stress enough that this build will literally carry you all the way through the game. And it's absolutely fantastic. So make sure to like the video, comment down below, guys. 50. Make sure to subscribe to you, and as always, stay gaming.
Glide Force Flex Max Strength trash bags are 25% more durable. And they're rip resistant. When your bag has the strength to keep it together, it's better than all day. It's all Glide.
I'm not ready yet.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to show you guys the best road build. Road is by far the single best with unbelievably high damage. Mobs, simply the best ability to and also some incredible defensive options. Rogue is just unbelievably powerful super early on, and the best part about it is that you have to get that legendary guaranteed within the first 2 hours or so of just doing the campaign. Outside of that, you don't really need many legendaries for this build to function. Of course, I'll mention looking out for, as well as some stats to look out for on gear, but you really only need one of them for the build to function and for you to just literally delete everything. Rogue is going to be my main class on launch, and I couldn't be more excited to blast through the campaign. If you guys have any questions about Rogue or just want to hang out, make sure to check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/nick2. I'd love to see you guys around. And if you find the video helpful, feel free to drop a like, and for each 1,000 likes that this video ends up getting, I'll be giving away a Diablo 4 Battle Pass, so if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and join me. Before I get into the video, I want to give a big thank you to Say Combat is a free-to-play online vehicle combat game that is free to play for settings, focused on building and
I'm not ready yet.
combat, even some My personal favorite part about Safa is just the sheer amount of customizability there is with the vehicle. You truly can make it parts, armor plating, and my favorite part is massive assortment of weapons, rockets, and the obvious. The best part about Safa is that you can play on Xbox, PlayStation, and it's simply never been better. Because the registers both new and existing users should be 3 days every premium. Brand new
I'm not ready yet.
At least things built terrible. Check out my website, and also if anything happens to change with the build in the future, I'll make sure to update it on the website. And unfortunately, I can't really update the video, right? So that'll be updated there. Definitely check out the website. I'd greatly appreciate it. It took a lot of time on that. Anyways, getting into the basic skills for Rogue. For leveling, and for this build in particular, puncture is what you're going to see like 99% of people doing, and it's because fundamental puncture is just a guaranteed vulnerable application really early on into the game. Getting access to 20% increased damage is just super strong, and you're going to have it all the time. Invigorating Strike is good for the energy generation, and it does have some vulnerable, but it's a little bit more conditional. Blade Shift is nice for the movement speed, but it simply just really isn't as good. At some point...
What's up, guys? War here. Welcome back to the channel.
Meet Disc Plate Lumino. The new generation of illuminated art is here. With built-in OLED lights and a futuristic finish. Bring the imagination home. Immerse yourself in light and motion. And experience art like never before. Get ready to transform your space. It's time.
How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be updating our Twisted Blades Trap Rogue build that we did a couple weeks ago. There's been a lot I've been able to test. I've leveled up a little bit more, and there's just a lot more gear that I've been able to get my hands on. And I feel like this build is a lot better now and is worthy of an update. I feel like the survivability has gone up way high as well, because the trap twisting blade stuff is already really good survivability, and then with these other aspects that I've been able to add, I feel like it got much better. And also our damage is still really good. I feel like this is much more prepared for pushing up the different nightmare tiers and also just running normal dungeons. So whatever you guys want to be using this build on, you can be doing that. And when you are not stuck in any sort of CC. And also we're going to be dropping the smoke bombs at the end of our dash now for dazing enemies, and that's going to help out a ton. So you guys are going to be dashing a lot with this build. So our poison traps are going to be really good for just knocking down the enemies. So you can do a poison trap death trap combo and just get those two cycling with our key passive. So overall, all of your abilities are just going to be spammed. Quickly running through our skill tree, we're going to be grabbing puncture and then fundamental puncture up here, maxing out twisting blades at 5 out of 5, and then also advanced twisting blades for the cooldown, 3 points into sturdy for the damage reduction, and then also 3 points into siphoning strikes so we can get our health back. Main sources of survivability on this build. 1 point into shadow step, and then grabbing methodical shadow step so we can stun the enemies. And then we're going to do 1 point in dash. Right now I have +4 on the boost, that's why I got 5 out of 5. But we're going to be grabbing sword with it, that's a 3 and then over here we'll be grabbing 3 points to get active at all times. And then 1 point. So we're going to be dazing enemies, and then when we critical strike them, we're going to knock them down, and that's how we get that crit chance here. And also, we're just going to throw 1 point into rapid gambit so we can get our evades back a little bit more often. Moving on down to poison trap, we're just going to be putting 1 point into here, and then 1 point into enhanced poison trap. We're not going to be grabbing like any of the capstones for it. And then 3 points into exploit and 3 points into mallet. In our endurance section, we're going to grab 3 points into venom. Just 3 points into damage, and also 2 points into
I'm not ready yet.
poison trap. No, we're going to max out
Don't have enough
trap here. That's 50% max energy. So we can just spam our traps over and over, and stunning enemies and deal more damage to them. Our aspect really quick, and look at the gear itself a little more. We're going to be doing less damage because of the enemies, and also if you damage you, you're going to gain some movement speed. Very nice for us. Also, we're going to be using smoke grenades at the end of our dash. And our cooldown is reduced for our dash for each enemy we daze up to almost a second with this roll that I have. So that's really nice on our chest. It's how we're going to be able to get into these big groups of enemies and start placing our traps. So you can dash in and then throw down your traps for free. And then dealing direct damage to a vulnerable enemy has a chance to daze them. This is fantastic how we're going to be on our load, 20% damage reduction, and the two spreading our crowd controls around, more enemies, and then on our amulet, we're going to have the stacking armor, actually, so that's going to go up to 75%. That's going to be a big bonus and a very big survivability. On our wings, we have stun. We don't really care about that part, but more damage. Our shadow step is also pretty good. Also,
I'm not ready yet.
increase your attack speed. You guys are gonna have that going all the time. And then on our weapons, on our crossbow, you guys are gonna have the blade orbit around you, and then you have the increased crit strike chance against injured enemies. That's gonna be very nice for keeping enemies. And then finally, we're gonna have the edge masters where we can damage based on how much primary resource we have available. We're using inner sight, so when that's active, that's a free 20%. Big factors on our gear that we're really gonna be looking for is cooldown and maximum life, at least on our armor. So like helmet, I got that. And maximum life. On my pants, I have maximum life. On my ring, I'm gonna have maximum life. So that is very helpful.
I need more time.
But those are very good. And the big ones are cooldown, ranks to exploit. There's a couple other ranks you get, like weapon mastery or anything like that. But not necessarily. And then and then for our weapons, basically going to be crit damage, vulnerable damage, dash basically what you're going to be looking for. This build right here is going to be we have one more here and do that. It's going to be vulnerable, but the game does not like me having some costs. A lot of money to reroll, but eventually that will be expensive. And then our gens on the armor, we're going to be running rubies, so we can have maximum life and more, since we're investing hard into it. More maximum life. For crit, which is good. On jewelry, we're going to have gold, aspect even higher. And then on our weapons, we're going to run emeralds and deal the increased critical hit damage. Quickly, just so I explicitly mention it again, when we go to our Paragon board, we are going to be running inner sight with this build. So just a heads up for our specialization. But on our Paragon, there's a bunch of different things we can do. But
hey, it's Will from Booker Law. If you have a big Steam library like I do, you have a lot of games, you could be
I'm just going to share with you guys what legendary nodes and glyphs I'm currently using. So let's go over the legendary nodes first. I have cheap shots, I have exploit weakness, I have deadly ambush, I have no witnesses. Also, I have tricks of the trade down here. So there's a lot of different options and can be a lot of extra damage for us. Now our glyphs, big ones are going to be like combat, and then also I have vulnerable when you start fighting us, which is very helpful. Otherwise, I am currently tips up here, so build a ton of fun. It's very good for just staying alive and pushing your different nightmares. We just have so many different survivability pieces, whether that's actively increasing our armor, health, or just keeping enemies from being able to attack us. All those things together just ends up being while we can also do damage on top of it all. Like I said, if you guys want to go through the whole build, I will have a link in the description to the build doc if you guys want to check that out. Otherwise, I stream almost every single day over on Twitch, so hopefully I will see some of you over there. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to the channel for more Diablo builds. We're going to have an updated
I need more time. I need more energy. I'm not ready yet.
Alright, you've just beaten the game and you're dropped into a world with a transformation. But first, what exactly are all the things to do? What is the game really? So in this video today, I'm going to go through what to do after the game. We'll start out by talking about the initial things of the video I'll discuss in here.
this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is I upfront all of my videos, and you can decide if it's the best fit for you. So with that being said, the entire list of subjects I'm going to cover, really all you need to do after completing the campaign is get to level 50 if you're not, max out every single level, unlock the next stage, do your Tree of Whispers bounty, complete Nightmare Dungeons, take part in Hell Tide, do Gathering Legions whenever they're up, complete World Bosses, Fields of Hatred, and lastly, optimize your Paragon points, aspects, and gear upgrades from the Blacksmith. That's it. That's exactly what we'll be talking about. And if that's a list you wanted because you maybe already know about what those mechanics are, feel free to shut the video down. I want to get you back and playing the game as fast as possible. If you are heading out, please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Each one of those does help me out in a very, very huge way. You can quickly navigate to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. Lastly, please don't forget to follow me on Twitch, where I will be streaming Diablo 4 with all the Twitch drops every day this week, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard every day. Let's get started here on what to do after the campaign, Diablo 4. So our first bit of the discussion is getting to level 50. So if you've completed the campaign, you need to get to level 50. This actually plays very well into the next portion what we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to really go too in depth here, but just pretty much bring up your map and go knock out every little thing that you can to get level 50. Let's do that up. Go do dungeons. Any of your consumables here, because they typically will give you an experience gain 5%, and do it with a friend because you get an additional 5%. That's your big first thing to do. Game is make sure you get to level 50. That's your first little bit. Let's jump over to the next part, which you're probably going to do in tandem. That is maxing out. Now you don't need to max it out completely. What you really want to do is get the first 3 ranks of every single equation down, because then you get all of your skill points. So what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and hover out your renown. Now you don't need 5%, and do it with a friend because you get an additional experience gain as well, or just because. That's your big first thing to do once you beat the campaign, is make sure you get to level 50 as fast as possible. So that's your first little bit. Let's jump over to the next part, which you're probably going to do in tandem with this. And that is maxing out your renown. Now you don't need to max it out completely. What you really want to do is get the first 3 ranks of every single location down, because then you get all of your skill points. So what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and hover over Skullskin here. We can see all the renown at the top. Let's press W. And now we have all of the things in Skullskin. What is it? Skosglen? And these are claimed per character at the top, and then per account. And the big thing here is, once you've completed the campaign, you can now make an alt and have to buy, and you can bypass the campaign, which is huge. And if you get all 5 of these done, up to level 3, you get 1 skill point for each one that is unlocked account wide. So when you start a new character, they start with 10 skill points. And your build for your main character can't really truly come online until all 60 skill points are acquired. So pretty much use this list here to help you kind of drill down on what you need to do. Strongholds are a great way to get this done quickly, because it's a quick 300 renown value. Like for example here, I have to do 50 more points to get that last skill point, and that's as easy as hitting waypoint, Lilith, side dungeon, whatever it is. Side dungeons are worth a whopping 30 points here, so again, if you're doing this while you're trying to level up, it's going to push your renown bar up quite quickly. Now what you really want to do too is focus on these altars of Lilith, because these are account-wide buffs. They give you experience up front for Paragon, Google Captain, whatever it is, a whole bunch of stat increases, so your are going to be a lot easier. I've talked about this in another video, but this whole region progress thing is a lot easier when you are using any kind of interactive map. Whether it's by Extra Life, it's from D4 Build, it's from Map Genie. I'll show that off in just a second here, but I strongly recommend you do that so that you can really kind
Did you know that traditional sheets are covered in bodily excrement?
Ew.
Yeah, like sweat, oil, dead skin cells. Should I stop? I'll stop. That's why last year, millions of people tossed their traditional sheets and opted for bamboo viscose. And why I made the switch to Cozy House's luxury bed sheets. They're made of bamboo viscose, so on top of being hypoallergenic, and get this, they regulate your body temperature as you sleep. So next sweater. See you later.
So now I can see, oh, there's a statue right here that I actually. So if I'm going through the characters, so it's there, I can get the experience if I want, but I never have to get my character. But you'll see this one, which is very close to my character is. Okay, I'm going to want to go and get that to help push myself. It's just a much easier way to track everything than trying to load it up every time. And the reason I like Map Genie is I just pay this is not sponsored. I pay the $5, whatever it is, and it saves all my progress so that I can just simply I can set up checklists, whatever I want to do to track specific categories. I personally prefer this one, but there are tons of interactive maps out there. Map Genie on its own is free. I just bought it because I'm a shithead, but still. Strongly recommend this to track your region progress. So I'm going to assume up to this point you are not level 50. And now you finally are level 50. And what you need to do is unlock the next difficulty, which is Nightmare if you're just starting the game. So you're going to go ahead and come to Kyovashad and find this, the World Tier Statue. It's just, I don't even know if, I don't know what's north in this game, but whatever's north. But there's a compass over there? No, it was not. All right, so you go to wherever this World Tier Statue is, you click it, and you can see this says Nightmare, and unlocked by completing the campaign and Cathedral of Light capstone dungeon in the Kyovashad World 2 veteran. So you have to play on World Tier 2. That's important. Make sure you have that set before you complete the dungeon. Complete that dungeon. The capstone dungeon is done. Nightmare. It's important here because Nightmare is how you actually get sacred items and unique items. They cannot drop in veteran or adventure. Nightmare sigils that can be done for Nightmare dungeons. Guess what? We're going to talk about that. Helltides can appear across the sanctuary. We're going to talk about that in a bit too. And champion monsters again. And then lastly we have Tormentor, which is unlocked by completing the Fallen Temple capstone dungeon, and that's how you get ancestral items and new unique items as well. That's how you really get and the capstone dungeon is right here. It's not on my map anymore. I completed it. But it's right here. It's just a little bit above where your character is. So if you can't find it on the map, it's just right there. And then when you want to push into Torment, when I said this general region, it's actually over here. There's your capstone dungeon. If you want to push but make sure you unlock Nightmare, because if you can, you should be doing everything in Nightmare to ensure that you get these two drops. Take it out of the you got a huge power scale. This might seem like a bit of a dumb, but I do want to just highlight it because it is important. You're going to be getting tons and tons of oopers, so make sure that you are investing them, especially because you can get stuff like sacred chest armor sometimes. These will randomly change around, so certain things will become sacred if they weren't, so this gives you a chance to get sacred legendaries far easier, or at least in a more predictable way. If you're trying to get specific aspects, some that are especially offensive aspects, the cheapest way to do this is by rolling a bunch of gloves, because you see this only costs 40 oobles versus any one of my, for the exception of a focus, any one of my weapons is going to be 50 here, 75, 50, 50. So if you roll gloves, it's a good way to get any of your offensive aspects that you really perhaps need. Also, you can get a lot of other aspects like defensive ones that roll on gloves as well. So gloves, I think, are one of the ones that you can roll to get a ton of aspects to rip off and put into your aspect section. Now, another big steps you can take is into Nightmare dungeons. And these are going to be a pretty hard progression point for you, but they're going to be very rewarding. Very similar to Greater Rifts, but not in that same kind of like race against time kind of way. So if we go into our consumables, after you do the Tree of Whispers, where you'll get your first sigil, you'll get one of these little guys. And basically, this transforms a specific dungeon into a nightmare dungeon. Now you can craft these and salvage these at the Occultist, which is this section here. Same person you can do any of your But going back to this system is going to turn 4 dragons into a nightmare dungeon. And we have access to all the pylons. So for one, you're only allowed to survive the but you also get frost damage bonus. You deal 10% more frost damage. So if you have a frost roll, use it, right? But there are 2 other things you're going to do. So Avenger, killing a monster enrages monsters near it, making them deal more damage. Fire damage.
I'm not ready
Fire. You can take this to a chance. Go in your defense section and go, okay, well, you know what? Fire resistance is my highest resistance. So, you know, I think this is a good way to go versus this one. Okay, this makes monsters do lightning damage. Well, I have 31% on this for lightning damage. So maybe that's not how I go. So you can really kind of use these. Once you decide on one, go ahead and right click and assume it to activate it. There you go. So it goes ahead and sends you into the dungeon. So we're going to go ahead and complete the dungeon, and then I'll come back here at the end. It's worth noting too that once you activate your Nightmare Dungeon, you do have to go find it on the map and go into it. It will not teleport you into it. So, quick heads up. If you've done that right click and you're like, where the hell is it? Gotta go find it. Beat it. With the ability to upgrade your build. So this is very similar to whenever you played Diablo 3, with the ability to upgrade your gems at the very end of your legendary gems. You do the same thing here. So if you do this, if you want to have it upgraded, you simply just pop it in and you'll get 4 more experience. You do this again and then it will increase the level of the glyph, thus increasing the effect. It's a very good way to get that. Now another thing you should be doing is the gathering. That works is, you find it on the map, it happens at random intervals, and basically you just jump on this event and you'll have to kill pockets of enemies throughout this little map, and once you do that, it'll spawn a boss. You're going to do this 3 times over, and if you kill all 3 bosses in the time limit, you get 3 gold resplendent chests. So let me show you what that looks like right now.
They said all I needed was a new logo and some more exposure, and that everything would be alright. And then 6 months later, my entire marketing budget was murdered.
So once you've completed the event, you've killed all 3 bosses, you get all 3 of these chests, and these are your rewards. So these Legion events take about 5 minutes, and they're really worth it because you just get a ton of things, including sigils, including any legendaries here, sacred, a bunch of rewards. It is a huge jackpot without none of it. Another big thing you're doing is world boss. You will get a weekly bonus for doing them, and that you get this actual cash. If you've not done a world boss, then that's good. If you've already done one, you can still get greatly from the actual boss itself. And they're different ones. This one's a Shava, so if you played during the beta, you were killing Shava, you just go ahead and do this one. There are plenty of other world bosses you encounter, and they do. So make sure you're knocking them out, because they also go towards your Grim Favors, which goes back to the Dead, which then gets you, of course, your rewards. All those things inside. And just to show you, this is what you get. Beat the world boss, some goodies, some not so good. Last time I did the world boss, I got this. But I've already completed this week, so I just simply get rid of the boss. Otherwise, you get a greater attack. So now Hell Tides are crazy. They're fun, they're hectic, but they're awesome. So they last for about exactly. You do exactly what it says. Play flows and complete activities. I'm not ready yet. So I'm going to show you what that is. I'm going to come down here where all Hell Tides are. You'll know you're in a Hell Tide location in the top right hand corner over here in a second. You're going to get this little thing. Hell Tide duration is 5 minutes, and now things are going to kind of pop off. And what you want to do is just pretty much kill stuff. You're just going to kill your way through all of this. You're going to go ahead and do any kind of events you see, anything like that, because things that, as you kill them, are going to drop those little you're going to get protection, which is any random armor piece. This is random material piece, and then torture. Okay, well, there's another one of weaponry somewhere around here that I cannot see on the map, but it's somewhere around here. You only see them within a certain range of where you're at. But those are your generic ones. So it's either going to give you a random piece of armor, a random piece of jewelry, or a random weapon, and it fits your class. More often than not, it will be a legendary, but it's extremely rare. Sometimes legendary, and sometimes what you really want to do is focus up and get mysteries, which is hidden. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get to the proper amount of moat. So what the mysteries one looks like in how to actually fight, because you're not going to find it on the map like you're looking. You have to run around and it'll appear on your mini, and that's where it is. So all of them, one of jewelry and one of protection, for 75. And the one of weaponry is for 125. Lastly, the gift of mystery is 170. So 175 using guys and allows you to pop it. You can do that as many times as you want as long as the timer is up. But as soon as the timer expires, you lose all of your sins. Carry over to the next Hell Tide, anything like that. And especially important, if you die, you lose half of your life. So if you have 174 and you're right about to open that mystery chest and you die, you lose half of them and you gotta restart.
I'm not ready yet.
So you kind of take those things in mind when you do the Hell Tide. And also, if you're fresh to 50 and you're a nightmare doing it, it's not going to be easy. Don't get frustrated. If you die, it's not a big deal. You have plenty of opportunities to do it over and over. I died like the first time, so I did not know what the hell I was getting into. But as you can see, you get the hang of it quite quick, and you can simply jump through. Let me just kind of show you very quickly though, what one of them looks like, so you can see it in person. Jump down here. This is the jeweler one. Oh, jeweler was 125. I said it was 75. But you would just simply click that and then above it. But I want to save my sinners and I want to show you what the mystery one is, because that's what it is. You get tons of them. So hang tight. Let's jump forward. All right. So just to show off how these tortured gifts of mysteries work, if I press M, you're going to see nothing is over there. But I can see this tortured gift of protection and other gifts around the map. So as you kind of look around and get closer, it'll appear. You can hover over it. It's a tortured gift of mysteries. We get 175 of these little shards. Up to it. I'll show you what happens when you grab one. Tons of goodies here. And there you go. You get quite a bit going on. Skoslin Barding here. What the hell that is, but a bunch of other stuff that you then will have tons of great stuff. The nice thing too is you get a bunch of consumables like elixirs. You can sometimes get sigils here too, but it is a great way to spend time because it lasts for a whole hour. So once you do this one, you can go unlock any of the other ones that you want. For those wondering what that is, we got those that are key. Head on over to the field of patience. Here's the patience. just south of town. Here, it's a PvP. You'll be able to fight against PvE. So you'll be able to fight against other people, but mainly you'll be able to fight against a higher monster density that have bonus drops and bonus experience. That is a great thing there. They also have some combat buffs, so you gotta be wary of that. But the big thing here is you do constant blood triggers for event combat areas, so you deal increased damage over time, control impaired duration reduction, and potion drop rate. But your potion healing is lower, 8 seconds to potion cooldown, and minus 50% minion and companion health. Keep those things in mind here too. So the Field of Hatred, those who are blood marked may attack or be attacked by any other players in the area. Do not mount while being attacked by other players. Killing other players drops your Seeds of Hatred. Heals your life. So those Seeds of Hatred also drop from the monsters. And you bring them back and you get drop them on the monsters as extraction. And when you do that, here the game progress, that means that someone's trying to extract their and when they successfully extract them, they become red dust. Find that. So if I go over here to the unconventional mount armor vendor, he has all these cool things that I can buy for my mount that cost an exorbitant amount of red dust. Firstly, you can also use that red dust over here at this vendor, which is basically an Oobles vendor. You just use them in place of Oobles. You'll for cap, tunic, gloves, boots, and pants. Get you, again, a chance to get those things. And lastly, you can come on over here and use them at this vendor to get special scrolls that are only usable in the Fields of Hatred. This one will help you out by increasing your movement speed for 40 seconds, or by 40% for 15 seconds, but deals 2% of your max life as bleed damage. Decreases damage taken from players by 30%, but increases damage taken from monsters by the same amount. And then lastly, teleport to a random location in the region. So this is an end game option to if you want to do some PvP, but also do some PvE at the same time. It's a great way to get a currency that unlocks a lot of cool cosmetics that only people that do this will have access to. So it is a really cool end game to get into. So now that we've talked about a lot of the active things that you'll be doing in the game, like Helltide, dungeons, and gathering legions, a big thing are your Paragon points. You're going to get 3 Paragon points per level after level 50, maxing out at level 100. You also get Paragon points from doing the Lilith steps. Then we're going to go ahead and go through your skill tree. Paragon tree, your skill tree. At the top. And you're going to invest your points in whatever way makes the most sense for you. Glyphs will drop in the world, and once you get them, build this whole section right here. We'll go ahead and place it. So what's important to know about thematic ones just have like very simple, right? Next radius. For every 5 willpower, and as soon as you socket it, it shows you what that range is of where those targets go. You have the other glyphs, which are rare. And these, for every 5 dexterity purchased within range, you deal 1% good hull damage. You have an additional bonus if the requirements are met. Dealing damage to a vulnerable enemy increases your damage up to 10%, but the requirements are plus 25 dexterity. So, I use this trigger plus 25 dexterity in the purchased range of, range of the purchasing range of the radius.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh God. So basically, this is going to go out of extra radius over here, this extra step, and it needs to be a total of plus 25 dexterity, which is 1, 5, 10, 15, 22. Yeah, I would not be able to hit it, probably not. No, 10 intelligence, 10 intelligence. And this would have to have some form of a dexterity on it. So we would be just short. But if you had one here, like willpower, for example, or intelligence maybe, because I have a ton of intelligence nodes, then that is the requirements met for it in order to unlock it. And it's true, too, of these rare nodes, which will say you need to have that much willpower. And that's not willpower gained from the Paragon board, it's your actual willpower. So if I have items that bring me up to 170 plus, this bonus will activate, well, I'll get another 10%. And then once you reach this point, you get another board piece to sock it in. Set legendary nodes and set rare nodes that add for very specific things for your build. So take a look at these. They're all in a lot of the build things online. You can build them all out.
This is why I switched to Shopify. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was easily able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over. We would not be able to go on the road without a platform that we can rely on. Start your free trial with Shopify today.
If you so wish, but this is how your Paragon points are going to work for you. Let's move into some other gear stuff. So with Paragon points, you also have your gear you really want to start optimizing, replacing as much of it as you can with sacred uniques if you're so lucky, or just sacred legendary, which in this case is weird stuff, legendary, until you get to the next difficulty when you're dealing with ancestral items. But in the meantime, you just want to focus on getting as many aspects as you can that are really going to be complementary and very huge for your build. Focus on the ones that are going to add the most to your damage potential on your weapon and or your amulet. Because this has a 150% bonus. A two-handed weapon is going to give you 200 or 100% bonus. So keep those things in mind. But you want to make sure you're popping these aspects down. They do cost quite a bit of resources at 50. So keep that in mind. You don't want to just simply drop a codex aspect swapping off unless it's totally necessary. So make sure you're doing that, adding sockets to any items, adding jewelry that is respective, gems in the L1 that is respective to your specific build. For example, here I have a lot of fortification build, so I'm using sapphire so damage reduction while fortified is increased. You cannot increase these gems. I'm not ready yet. 60 or 70, I believe, is flawless. So just get the max gem that you can in as possible and push it up from there. Make sure you are also breaking down any legendary items you don't need so that you have those crafting. Those are very, very crucial things for you because they're really going to help you out as you push into later portions of the game when you're trying to upgrade items. So this is probably something that you dodge throughout the majority of it. Upgrading items, especially as you get into a lot of the is really going to you pop items. It does cost quite a little bit when it's the first part. It doesn't cost very much at all, but it will cost quite a little bit as you progress through the game. But you can see this gives quite a good amount of stat bonuses for initially, not a lot, a little bit more, not too bad. Now we're starting to get crazy, right? Because our coiling wards we don't have in a huge amount, but we're going to get a little bit of items. We really want to buff them as best we can. So let's just go ahead and do it. That final one, though, is going to be pretty hefty. Forgotten Souls here, and that's going to give us the most bonus to this item. So you really want to try and take advantage of this as best you can to make sure that your items are lasting you the test of time. Now, I wouldn't do this on an item like this chest piece, because this chest piece just so happens to have an aspect I'm sticking with. It's got 2 sockets in it. It's okay. It's just kind of there. I have it there because I don't have a better one yet. So that's not an item I'm looking to upgrade. This, on the other hand, is something I'm going to keep around, and it also changes my build. Instead of detonating immediately, Corpse Explosion summons a volatile skeleton that charges at a random enemy and explodes. Corpse Explosion's damage is increased by 6% as well. So that's crucial to my build. So it makes sense as to why I would want to. Don't just upgrade willy-nilly. Do what makes sense for you in your build. What kind of items you want to help you think. This is a certain aspect, but this is not necessarily a very good item. It's just simply a legendary company. It's not a sacred legendary. It's not a unique. So I'm going to kind of do that. I definitely see this as something I'm going to use long term, so I've gone ahead and buffed it up. So as you can see, the cost isn't that huge, but once you really start to jump into ancestral items, it will be far more expensive. So upgrade as you see fit, but make sure you do upgrade to get the absolute most that you have in. That brings our video here to a close. Hopefully all these little tips help you out in what to do after you complete the campaign. And I've talked a lot about some of the things that I use outside of the game, for guild.gg, tracker.io. I'll put links to those in the description. Go ahead and use those if you want to maybe plan out your Paragon points, if you want to plan out what aspects to put on what pieces of your armor, and to find out where those aspects are. then use your map tracker to track all of your Lilith statues, to track all the progress of the dungeon, whatever it is. Use those external resources as most as you can, because it's really going to help your game a lot smoother as you push into the higher levels or when you start to get really hectic and crazy. But as always, thank you so much for watching here today. If there's anything else you need help with, or if you're struggling with some stuff to do post level 50 or whatever it is, go ahead and let me know. I'm happy to help out with any questions that I possibly can. But have a good one and take care.
For an effective defense against erosion and cavity, I recommend New Pronamel Active Shield. With 2 times stronger defense against erosion and effective cavity protection, New Pronamel Active Shield is a game changer.
Getting gear is one of the most addictive parts of any ARPG, and Diablo is no different. Across all of your gear slots and across all the many gear affixes, the question has probably come up in your mind as to which gear affix is the best one. What should you wear? Well, in this video today, I want to go over the best gear affixes, or at least the best stats to play across. Now, a lot of this information will please do not beat yourself up trying to min-max every single item that you're wearing. You spent $70 for this game, so enjoy it however you see fit. What I'm aiming to do here is to give you a guide on what affixes have a higher value for all of your many characters you will undoubtedly make in this game. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things here is by upfronting the information in my video so that you can decide if it's the right one for you. So, the best affixes, roughly in this order, are vulnerability damage increase, crit damage and crit chance increase, armor or damage reduction increase, and then whatever stat is important for your build. Take my Blood Necro for example. I want tons of overpowered damage, or maybe blood damage, etc. But the first 3 things are the most important. Also, you want to make sure that the armor value on your character sheet shows 88% damage reduction when you hover over it. That's it. That's the primary focus of this video. There's a lot more on how each gear slot corresponds to those affixes and where to focus what, but if that's all you wanted to know, then please feel free to shut the video down. I always want to make sure you get back to playing and enjoying the game as fast as possible. If you are heading out though, please don't forget to like, comment, and or subscribe. Each one of those things does help me out in a very, very huge way. Also, I have a massive playlist filled with all my guides and how-tos for Diablo 4 linked in the description as well as the end of this video if you need help with other subjects. Lastly, you can quickly navigate to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. And remember when I said lastly, I lied to you. The true lastly, please don't forget to follow me on Twitch, where I will be streaming Diablo 4 tomorrow, Saturday, all the many days in the future. But let's get started here on which gear affixes are the best in Diablo 4. Loading into the game, let's talk about crit and vulnerable damage, why they're so important. The biggest damage bonuses. So when we go to our materials and stats, we have all of our expensive stats. And the way that this game works is you have a series of damage buffers. You might have heard people say, oh, that's additive, that's multiplicative. And you might know what those actual words, additive and multiplicative, mean, but you might not understand how it really applies. So what we're going to talk about here is why vulnerable damage and why crit damage is so important. Vulnerable damage probably chiefly among those two. So vulnerable damage here, you can see it says that it's extra damage granted against vulnerable defense. My current stats, items, paradox, whatever, give me 73. Strike damage. Base value. But mine is at 100. Of course, though, the difference between these is that crit strike damage only triggers when a crit damage triggers. Versus vulnerable damage is against anything large that's vulnerable. Why vulnerable damage is so important is that this exists in its own damage bucket, meaning it is its own number that will multiply all of the many different types of damage bonuses that apply to the overall damage. What that means is that there's a bunch of like abstract words, right? let's just look at your weapon damage, and let's assume for a second here your weapon, your base damage is 2,000. I'm just gonna use. Well, a lot of factors come into this: your speed, your attack bonus, your DPS, all these individual little things. And I really believe this is a real good indicator. And then your skill will do a percentage of the damage. After that number gets multiplied by your crit strike damage. By your if a crit strike triggers, if a crit strike triggers, assume it did. Assume it. So you got your 2,000, and then whatever percentage of the skill value times crit strike damage times your vulnerability. And then you've got all these things damaging. Leap versus slow versus close versus distant while healthy with core. All this stuff from blood orbs. These are in their own, not individual, but cumulative damage bucket. So what people mean when they say additive is that they're saying that if I were to get 100% additional damage versus distant, that's an additive value to all of these kind of extra damage values. Versus if I got 100% additional vulnerable damage.
Johnson, why are you naked? Because my t-shirt sucks. Look at Gibson. He's wearing a true classic tee. It fits him tight in all the right places, but leaves the perfect amount of room in the front. God, I hate that guy. He looks so damn good in that shirt, he can basically do whatever the hell he wants around here. Gibson! Yeah, boss? You're a goddamn stud. Thanks, boss. True Classic is designed to enhance the male physique in all the right places. Right, Jimson?
That's right, boss. I have strong arms, but also a little bit of a gut. But you wouldn't know because I wear True Classic.
And if you're a skinny guy, True Classic fits tight around the arms and accentuates your biceps.
But how can Jimson afford premium t-shirts? He's the worst salesman here, and I don't even think he can read.
Damn it, Johnson, we all know Jimson can't read. But at least he knows that True Classic is completely affordable. And if you buy right now, you can get 20% off your first order.
I don't need to know how to read to know that over 200,000 people gave True Classic a 5 stars.
Good job, Jimson, that's right, 5 stars.
5 stars? Let me try one on.
Oh my God, Johnson, I don't know how I never noticed before. You're stunning.
I want a raise.
Consider it done. But wait, are those True Classic?
That's right. I just got them. Let's get this. They even have underwear, holding long sleeves.
Incredible. Gibson, why can't you be more like Johnson? Just sexy cool. You can go to the True Classic website and buy all of those items right now.
Daughter of hatred demands blood.
I'm not ready yet.
I've been in and out of therapy with BetterHelp for a few years now, and it's made prioritizing my mental and emotional health so much easier. Your 20s are such a confusing time in your life. You're old enough to make your own decisions, but too inexperienced to know what's best. When I think of my friends, some moved away, started their career, some are still school, who got married and started families. You don't know what the right path is for yourself, and each year you may be asking yourself, where is my life? You may be wondering, how does therapy help in this situation? Why would I want to talk and think about this more than I already do? But talking to a licensed professional about these topics, working through these big questions, learning more about yourself, and coping with life's transitions and challenges is really impactful. I use BetterHelp because of its convenience and customization. Something that I struggled with before BetterHelp was the actual act of calling a schedule. Not sure why, but it always seems to work out. But with BetterHelp, everything comes with a mobile app. From signing up, matching with a therapist, to scheduling your appointments, actually calling early sessions, everything is done through the app. When signing up, I took a
It's an additional bit of multiplicative damage in the total equation, right? If I'm saying A times B times C times C, times D, I'm increasing B rather than adding more to D. So taking that total number of one value and increasing it allows me to deal far more damage than just simply adding more to the little bits of a part of a number. And that's kind of very confusing in and of itself. But the biggest thing you need to understand here between vulnerable and crit strike damage is that vulnerable is an on or off switch. Things aren't a percentage chance to be vulnerable unless a skill says that. It's like, oh, 30% chance to be vulnerable. Take, for example, here, the corpse tendrils. If it's given this, enemies damaged by corpse tendrils are made vulnerable. It's just turned on. So now when I do damage to them, I get a multiplicative bonus of 73%. So if my total amount of damage was just say 1,000, well now I'm doing 73% more damage, right? I'm doing a ton more damage. Versus if I have it being its own bucket and being multiplicative is great, but if my crit strike chance isn't high, I don't have skills that increase the crit strike chance, Paragon here, then I never get to take advantage of this multiplicative bucket. So why vulnerable is so important. Why people always say you should stack vulnerable in your build in one way or another. But what's important here, what kind of defeats what I've said about everything so far is, if your build does not use vulnerable, or if it does not focus on crit strike, then it's not. Here's an example. My build isn't overpowered. I am not focusing on vulnerable damage. I used to, but I'm focusing solely on how much overpowered damage I do, because it's kind of a weird, kind of sideways process. So, I have eschewed my vulnerable damage. Crit strike damage still is important to me because my overpowers can crit strike. Conversely, if I was playing, say, a firewall sorcerer who cannot crit strike chance or crit strike damage with their damage over time abilities, which is the biggest draw of their build, then it is wasteful for me to invest points into these two aspects. I'd instead want to put it into vulnerable damage. Since I'm playing a sorcerer, I can use my Frost Nova and just guarantee vulnerable damage to things, which I will then do increased damage to. So that's what I mean. These are both really important characteristics, but they are going to come down to how your build plays with them. And it's why your build stat is an underlying conversation throughout this entire video. If you're playing, say, a rogue, well, rogue has a ton of vuln damage and they rely really heavily on lucky hit. So everything that I'm going to talk about maybe doesn't apply to you if your rogue build is very heavily geared towards your lucky hit chance. You want to boost this ability up as much as you can. So that's a really big set of offensive stats I wanted to talk about because it's the biggest thing that everyone focuses on. Woody Joe, Rax, Mr. Llama, all of them are talking about how vuln is a huge thing because it's its own damage multiplicative bucket. Riker has a whole cool video on it. So let's talk now about some defensive stats which are equally as important that will really push you into the top tiers of the game. So across all of your gear, it's important to look at one value, your armor. Now, in previous Diablos, that's not been as important as resistances, and resistances in this game are absolutely garbage. They will probably be balanced in the most recent patch. They've said that they are looking at it, but just to kind of give you an idea of why they're not so great is take a look at cold resistance. What you get here, you don't get 40% damage resistance against cold, you get half of that value. So it reduces incoming cold damage by 20%, makes up 50% of your initial damage reduction from cold, with the remainder contributed by armor. That's why armor is just so much more important, because it takes so much stat resistance to actually reduce that damage. So your armor is the way you gotta go. I know in the intro I had said that the value you want to look for is 88%. I lied, it's 85%. So what you look for here is when you hover over armor, reduces physical damage taken from enemies of equal level by X value. This value is going to change every level. Let's say my armor value of 5,982 did not change, and I got 3 levels. That percentage drops. So you need to kind of constantly be pushing your gear up with its armor. It's not exactly that easy of an equation. It's not going to be a drastic drop, but it's still, you want to make sure you're pushing your armor value up. So this can show you 95 or 100%, but it will cap out at 85%, because this tells you reduces physical damage taken from enemies of equal level by 66%. So once we traverse into something that is a higher level than my level, so I am currently 72, so if something is 78 and my value says 92, then I will get less actual physical damage reduction, right? Because it's a higher level than me.
but that overflow allows me to have a way to kind of still stay at 85%. And damage reduction happens sequentially. So for every piece of damage reduction you have in your build, it will happen piecemeal. So let's take a generic number like 1,000, for example. Well, with my armor of 66% damage reduction, or reduced physical damage, it's not exactly damage reduction, but it's effectively damage reduction. I take 1,000 damage. Well, this reduces it by 660, right? So I'm taking 340. Well, then, you know what? Let's assume that they're actually close. Well, now that number gets reduced by an additional 32%. The resulting number, because let's assume I'm also fortified, then gets reduced by 16%. It is another multiplicative defensive bonus for you. So stacking damage reduction in the instances that make sense for your character is crucial. My character is always close and is always fortified. So these damage reduction values help to maintain my actual well-being of my character. If I was playing, say, a pen shot rogue, well, damage reduction from distant is probably what I would want. Or any kind of damage reduction that's going to benefit the way my character plays, how the build steps in and out of combat. You have also flat situational damage reduction, right? That happens from certain abilities. Let's see here, damage reduction, and we'll scroll out. Okay, that's not it. Let's just look at this one, right? So hitting an enemy with Reap increases your damage reduction by 15% for 2 seconds. So that is a situational damage reduction. And you also will get damage reduction from Paragon points, from individual glyphs, stuff like that. Anytime you get a damage reduction, it turns on in this little scroll here if you have it or not. So there's damage reduction from distant. I don't have any damage reduction from distant, so it is a 0 here. So you want to focus on damage reduction in armor, because that is what keeps you alive in the later portions of the game. The earlier you start to focus on it, the more ahead of the curve you're going to be. And it's why I also use a shield in my specific build, because I like the block chance followed by blocked damage reduction. It's an additional DR that gets folded into the equation to help reduce the amount of damage I just do not need to take. Another quick little thing I do want to talk about in this kind of defensive section is life. Anytime you see a piece of armor here that says it increases your life, oh, here you go, increases max life, that's crucial. You always want to increase your max life. No armor piece is going to increase life percentage. That would be usually from a passive or a Paragon point, but I just want to show you what that does. Anytime something says life percentage, it increases this value right here that says you have 2,654 base life. So a 5% gain on that is like, I don't know, 100 some. Versus max life goes to the total in this bubble right there. So it's important to look at those things. And let me show you just a quick example of how important armor is. So my current character here, that's not what I meant to do. He's got 5,982 armor, which is 66% DR. Let's just put on this one piece. It's 88 less armor. That brought me down to 64. That's 2% less. I'm going to put on all this junk armor, and now I'm down to 43%. So focusing on high item levels, high item power with high armor, and also high armor affixes allows you to get substantially more damage reduction into your build. One more thing I want to point out here with armor is that anytime a piece says that it increases, say on this, here, I'll put it over here, 4.6% total armor is increased from this, or this chest piece. My current one says it increases by 5.6, but it has 1451. If I remove this chest piece, we've got 5,982, right? That's not a 1451 difference. So any bonus that you get from the affix that increases armor is represented here, not on the actual tooltip. Just be mindful of that. And it's important that you get your armor really up to snuff on your chest and legs, because they have the highest armor rolls in their individual slots, chest being the chief one amongst it, right? And when you upgrade your items, this kind of all plays together across all of the stuff we've talked about so far. It increases the bonuses to your affixes. So upgrading them is crucial because it increases item power, which conversely will then increase the amount that an affix rolls. And I can show you that by really quickly jumping on down here to the blacksmith. So you won't do this for every single piece of gear. You'll do this for the pieces of gear you want to hold on to. And if you are not in World Tier 4, that is nothing. You only want to do this to stuff that is ancestral, or well, there's no better. You just want to do it to ancestral. So let's just take this piece of armor here and let's look at this. This says 9.5% damage reduction while fortified. Well, when I upgrade it, it goes to 10.4. And this is why that is so important. You want these great gear affixes because you then want to increase them. So remember, this base was 9.5. Well, let's just do this for the video. We increased it all the way. Now it is up to 13.9. We got almost a full 4% increase here. No, that's 5%. I have terrible math skills. But clearly, you can see it's increased quite a bit with the damage reduction. So upgrading things is paramount to maximizing your affix gain on each and every item. And the last thing I want to talk about are the individual slots and how you can maximize, again, your gear affixes. Because the best gear affixes are not going to roll on everything. So you're going to head on over here to d4builds.gg. At the top, you'll see database, and you'll go over here into gear affixes. And let's go ahead and just select a class. I am a necromancer, so I'll be clicking this. So this is going to show me, for my class, what all of
Sometimes you want to drown out the noise. Sometimes you just want to focus on the music. A nice headphone that fits.
Okay, guys, I have heard the news. Everybody has been telling me, stop everything, Joe, because James Gunn has announced the new Super... Okay. More Clark, less Superman?
No.
That's fucked up, Joe.
It's a little bit of both, obviously.
All right, what do you think, Alex?
I think it looks fine. I mean, I like Henry Cavill a lot. I don't know him, but I like him a lot. But I didn't mind anywhere near as much as when he got, I didn't like that they fucked with him on a personal level. That sucks. Yeah. But if they're like, hey, they want to go younger, that was no sweat off my back. I was fine with it. Like, it's been so long. We're old. We remember the old Superman movies. This generation of moviegoers don't. Perfect. Like, honestly, they've seen the first time they probably ever saw that was in The Flash, if they even watched it, and no one watched it. So it's like, if they're going back for that hopeful Superman, if they want to get away from galactic level threats and they want to ease them into that and go, look, the real conflict with this Superman film is a combination of the Clark stuff and with some other things going on and how to balance it. Yeah. That's not a bad formula. So I think if, James
There's
Gunn,
your Clark, Joe.
James Gunn would be on the short list of directors where I think maybe that guy could pull it off. If he's going to start with this thing, if he has a long plan, and if this isn't something he's going to make one movie and cut, it makes sense to me that he went younger. He wants to do 10 years worth of movies with this guy, get him in a hard contract saying, if you want to be Superman, I've got you for 5 films, three Superman films, and then 2 ones where you're in as well. So it's like, I get where he's coming for it, and I'm just glad that he looks the part.
Yeah, he's going to need to bulk up a little bit, which is totally possible. We've all seen Henry Cavill do it.
The Hollywood workouts.
Yeah, because there's not his body there, but if his body hits that, then boom, you got it, man. So, okay. We're ready. Joe, big question. Trunks, no trunks? This Trunks right here is pretty good.
Well,
I want Trunks.
I wonder what they're going to go with. Yeah, if they're going to go with the classic, maybe a little bit of spice it up.
That whole Clark and Superman.
You want the underwear on the outside look?
Little Trunks.
I'm not opposed to it.
That's classic Supes. I want Trunks. I'm not going to be upset when there's no Trunks, but I want Trunks. So, okay. I didn't expect that news today, and honestly, I still mourn for the potential that we could have had with Henry and all that, but that shit is dead and gone now. It's time to put that to bed. We can always mention how they fucked around Henry and how it might have been cool and maybe Kingdom Come and all this other stuff, but I am definitely going to give James Gunn a chance. And like Alex said, there was a short list of directors. One of them was a Kingsman director. Forget that guy's name. He was going to potentially do Superman. James Gunn was another one that I thought could do it, but he was like, I don't know Superman, or I don't want to do Superman. Then I guess he was lying out of his teeth. He was already working on a project, or eventually decided, no, I will do Superman. So it's all about the writing. And what I've seen from James Gunn is he's got great comedy, great quirkiness. So I think maybe, I see what Joe is saying with the Clark. He might actually be able to nail Clark without the cringe and more of the charming kind of bumbling Clark. But will he get those action scenes done right? Are we going to get plenty of Superman? Or are we going to get more TV Superman where he's in normal street clothes and he's doing all this other bullshit and not enough Soup's, power? I guess we won't know that until they announce the villain, right? We don't know the villain. No Lois. So there's got to be time for a love story. James Gunn is like, okay, I need to bring in the female audience. He did hit it with that guy. Bring him in the goal. Got to be attractive Lois Lane, so there will be a love story. That's fine. I want it. If you're going to bring Soups, you need Lois. And,
We need to bring back phone booths.
There's no phone booth. He's gonna hide behind a cell phone.
Where he's gonna change.
He's
That's
hide
where he
behind
changes.
a cell phone, or what? In the
I don't know where
public
else he's gonna
restrooms. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Well, positive. I don't hate the casting, and to be perfectly honest, I was a little worried about the casting. So the fact that this time I just let go. I was like, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna take brain power for it. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's just gonna hit me in the face, and it's gonna be either really bad or really good. That shit hit me in the face, and it was good. And he hasn't even worn the suit yet. Wait until he bulks up and wears the suit. If you still aren't convinced, wait till he bulks up and wears the suit. I think it'll look good. No CGI. I don't want CGI. I want as little CGI as possible. Like, that man, there's this post. Fuck. If I find it, I'll put it up. If I can't find it, then there's a post that says, Henry Cavill, they done this man dirty. He was becoming more and more CGI as things are going on. It just look really, really good. They freeze framed his shot in Flash. It looks worse than So, morning for Henry, and now it's time for celebration of Superman and our Superman shirt's dirty. All right, guys. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.
Welcome to Life Chiropractic College Quest at Bellevue University.
Time to do that.
We're excited to welcome you to our second.
Hey everybody, welcome to AJS News. This is the first of two videos we got for you today.
But first, an important word from our sponsors. Hey, guys. And in AJS News, it is launch week of Warhammer.
I need time to do that. Oh, I'm out of energy. ready yet. I need more time. Low I'm not ready yet. time to do that.
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing happen. Really going for it. Doing business on your terms. Giving it your all. Making a difference. And loving what you do. Every single day. Feeling fearless, fulfilled, free. When there's nothing holding you back, what would your thing be?
The Russian mercenaries were from the Wagner Group, a shadowy security.
So I have kind of a problem, I got to admit to you guys here at the moment. I first played the Druid, okay? When I played the Druid, I'm like, okay, it's a slow start, but, you know, it feels good. Like, I like the Druid. Then I played the Necromancer, and I was like, wow, like, the Necromancer actually feels, like, surprisingly good. Like, the damage is good. It seems to destroy a lot of things with the Bow and Spear. I'm actually, like, pretty pleasantly surprised, okay? And I felt pretty good about that. All right, then I played the Hardcore Sorcerer, and I thought to myself, man, I might be wrong. Hardcore's actually really fun. Like, I can see why people actually like Hardcore, all right? Then I started playing the Rogue, because I wanted to see, a lot of my friends were playing the Rogue, and I wanted to see, okay, what's the deal with the Rogue? Why is everyone and their mom playing the Rogue? And you know what I found out? I found out that the Rogue is so mind-blowingly good in terms of how early it is that the damage actually gets. How quickly you can move around the map, okay? How fun it is to actually, how accessible it is to actually do. I mean, look at this. I you only really need a few like, and that the boss damage is so unbelievable, okay, that doing the strongholds, doing the dungeons, doing all of these things are so much faster. I mean, what the boss is always like. It's so much faster that now I understand that when I was playing these other classes in the beginning of the game, and I don't really get why my friends are blowing past me, just leveling faster, doing the content faster, getting through the campaign faster. I mean, my friend Velcha beat the campaign at level 31. I wasn't getting, I'm seeing her the Druid, just pounding my head against the brick wall that is progression of the Druid, and then I pick up the Rogue, and due to the fact that this Twisting Blades is so good early with the poison, I'm just shredding literally everything. And then I have the mobility on top of it, and the class is actually fun. I'll be honest, I almost felt stupid for playing the Druid from the beginning. I'm not trying to say the Rogue is OP, okay? Because I know there's other mechanics, like I know they're fairly squishy, I know there's downsides to the Rogue, okay? And to be honest, actually from the beginning, I tried the Barrage instead. I was like, let me try the Bow. I want to be the Bow guy. So I did like the Heart Seeker, and I kind of went through the Barrage, etc. But even without me like Googling a build and then trying to min-max whatever, I just went and was like, okay, well now let me try the daggers. I know Twisting Blades are pretty good. So my buddy Velshot play this next to me. Picked up that, added in the poison, added in the obvious passives. I'm sure I got tons of this wrong. I think people use Shadow Step. I'm using Dash or whatever. But it almost didn't matter. All I needed was the combination of basically Poison Imbuement. I needed the combination of Twisting Blades that orbits me. And then I needed a little bit of Lucky Hit Chance. Shadow Step for the boss. That's all I really needed. That's about it. And there's this combo that when you have a pool of toxicness below you, you can continue to reapply your poisons over and over and over again. So you can spam your poisons, which does the damage over time. Then you do the inner sight, which will give you unlimited energy, okay, for 4 seconds. So you can spam non-stop poison imbuement with non-stop twisting blades, and you just get this effect of just constantly just draining the damage just ridiculously fast. Here, I'll demonstrate it on the world boss. All right, here we go, world boss time. So effectively what I'm going to do is going to get Mark. We're going to try to get the infinite energy. We're going to use poison, okay? So here we go. We got poison going. And now the twirling of the blade goes on around us, and we can keep doing more poisons because of the poison pool. And now we have infinite energy, right? So what we're going to do is shadow clone here. We're going to try to spam the energy when we get the infinite energy, and then we keep spamming the poison imbue. And the damage is just really, really, really good. But it kind of gets worse or better depending upon how you look at it. From what I understand, and from the people I've asked, because as soon as I start feeling this way, I'm like, guys, I'm only level 47, and I feel the strongest that I have ever felt on any character at any point. I'm talking right now, I feel stronger than my level. I'm not saying obviously, I'm saying that in terms of the mobs I'm killing versus the power that I feel, I feel like the goat playing the rogue, and I'm doing it from having like one legendary that with 2 legendaries that actually matter. That you lay that you kind of need, and then other than that, you're twisting. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they'll do something, but they don't really. It's not really. It's like 2 legendaries, and then GG, you're a god, basically, which is a completely different experience. Like I needed uniques. Having like 1 legendary with 2 legendaries that actually matter. The poison imbued puddle that you lay that you kind of need. And then other than that, you're twisting blades. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they'll do something, but they don't really, it's not really, it's like 2 legendaries, and then GG, you're a god, basically, which is a completely different experience. Like, I needed uniques, I needed full build, I needed somewhat good secondaries, and on the rogue, it's like, I just throw on literally whatever, who cares, because I don't even need the extra damage of getting the right stats, because I just kill everything literally anyway. And from what I hear in the late game, it actually just gets better. Like, people are telling me, yeah, he never actually falls off. I was doing this on live stream. You should come by the live stream. We have like thousands of people now at this point. That's insane. And it's just super fun, okay? I came into this with a very fresh perspective. I saw my friends playing it, but I didn't go watch a bunch of builds. I was just like, let me just see what the rogue's like. I started with the bow, and I was like, okay, barrage feels kind of okay. Heartseeker, kind of whatever, you know? And now I'm like, let me see this twisting blades thing that I know has been nerfed a million times that everyone's talking about. And it just felt so good that I was just like...
What a gorgeous day. What do you say we shoot some videos? iPhone? Oh no, iPhone. Don't you die on me. Huh?
Damn it! So I have really 2 points in this video. One is, if you want to play the rogue, play the rogue, because the rogue is super fun. Like, it's super fun. The twisting blades feel super good. I feel like I'm going through the content the quickest out of any of the classes I've ever played, and it actually feels ridiculous. And number 2 is, I have now changed my mind. I no longer believe that after playing, I've played, you know, all the classes except Barbarian now, they're about 50. And at that point, I'm now experienced, there is a giant gap in the early game. Some classes feel really good in the early game. Some classes feel miserable in the early game. I originally believed that you gotta kind of have a bad early so that the late game makes sense. I no longer believe that, because the whole point of the Diablo games typically is into the late game is sort of where you're grinding the gear, and everyone should be strong at the late game. Like if there's no class that is, if there's a class, basically, use a better way of saying, if there's a class that's bad in the late game, why would you pick a class in the Diablo game where you're like, oh, it's good until you get to the part that matters? Like, that's just, I think that was a dumb opinion by me. Now what I'm realizing is there is no reason for me to feel like I should have a bad experience early so that I can have a good experience late. And I believe this rogue has made me feel that acutely because of how good the game now feels. Ripping through the content, destroying stuff, you know, shredding the bosses. It almost feels too easy. Now, if I was playing hardcore, it'd probably be a different conversation. Rogue was really squishy, I'm dying all the time because it's a skill issue, and I just need to get good, basically. But in terms of like actually shredding for the content, the Rogue feels phenomenal. The Necromancer was feeling phenomenal. I'm having multiple classes now when I play them. I'm just like, this just feels good to play now. And coming from Druid, where it's like I feel like it takes me to the field, and then everyone's helmet, all of these issues, and Cobra Shockwave, and having problems getting the right aspects. This character, the Rogue, has the actual GOAT in terms of aspects. Like by like Act 2, you can basically get this dungeon down, and you can get this aspect. So I see a lot of people running Rogue coming into Season 1, and I see a lot of people probably enjoying Rogue from the minute they start the game, and I probably see a lot of people experiences with how they actually feel about the game. They're playing Rogue as compared to the classes that maybe have So what I've learned from Rogue is that actually, it wasn't even about the Rogue, it was about the other classes. I feel like my time playing the other classes, I feel more painful now having experienced what, in my opinion, is completely fun, completely strong, highly mobile, just very enjoyable level 1 to 50 class. Maybe a 50 plus if you play the Rogue higher levels, but the 1 to 50 experience feels borderline flawless as a Rogue. With that being said, come on by the live streams. I will be live 11 a.m. ridiculously fast. Here, I'll demonstrate it on the World Boss. Alright, here we go, World Boss time. So effectively what I'm going to do is keep in March. I'm going to try to get the infinite energy. We're going to use poison, okay? So here we go. Got poison. Okay. Now the swirling on the blade goes on around us, and we can keep doing more poisons because of the poison pool. And now we have infinite energy, right? So what we're going to do is Shadow Clone here. We're going to try to spam the energy when we get enough energy, and then we keep spamming the energy. The damage is just really, really, really good. But it kind of gets worse or better depending on how you look at it. From what I understand, and from the people I've asked, because as soon as I start feeling this way, I'm like, guys, I'm only level 47, and I feel the strongest that I have ever felt on any character at any point. I'm talking right now, I feel stronger than my level 100 Druid. I'm not saying, obviously, the Druid hits more damage, but I'm saying in terms of the mobs I'm killing versus the power that I feel, I feel like the GOAT when I'm playing the Rogue, and I'm doing it from having like one legendary with two legendaries that actually matter. The poison infused huddle that you lay that you kind of need. And then other than that, your twisting blades. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they'll do something, but they don't really, not really. It's like two legendaries and then GG, you're a god, basically, which is a completely different experience. Like I needed uniques, I needed full build, I needed somewhat good secondaries, and on the Rogue, it's like, I just throw on literally whatever, who cares, because I don't even need the extra damage to everything literally anyway. And from what I hear in the late game, it actually just gets better. Like, doing this on live streams, by the live stream, we have like thousands of people, and it's just super fun. Okay? I came into this with a very fresh perspective. I saw my friends playing it. I didn't go watch a bunch of builds. I was just like, let me just see what the Rogue's like. I started with the bow, and I was like, okay, Barrage feels kind of okay, Heartseeker kind of whatever, you know. And now I'm like, let me see this Twisted Blades thing I know it's been nerfed a million times that everyone's talking about. And it just felt so good that I was just like, damn it. So I have really 2 points in this thing. One is, if you want to play the Rogue, play the Rogue. Because the Rogue is super fun. Like, it's fun, good. And number 2 is, I have now changed my mind. I no longer believe that after playing, I've played, all the classics at Barbarian now, they're about 50. And at that point, I'm now experienced, there's a giant gap in the early game. Some classes feel really good and fun in the early game. Some classes feel miserable in the early game. I originally believed that you gotta kind of have a bad early so that the late game makes sense. I no longer believe that, because the whole point of the Diablo games typically is into the late game is sort of where you're grinding the gear, and everyone should be strong at the late game. Like if there's no class that is, if there's a class, basically, here's a better way of saying it, if there's a class that's bad in the late game, it's a problem. Because why would you pick a class in Diablo game where you're like, oh, it's good until you get to the part that matters? Like, that's just, I think it was a dumb opinion by me early. So now what I'm realizing is there is no reason for me to to feel like I should have a bad experience early so that I can have a good experience late. And I believe this rogue has made me feel that acutely because of how good the game now feels, just ripping through the content, destroying stuff, shredding the bosses. It almost feels too easy. Now, if I was playing hardcore, this would probably be a different conversation. Rogue feels really squishy, dying all the time because it's a skill issue, and I just need to get good, basically. But in terms of like actually just shredding through the content, the rogue feels phenomenal, the necromancer was feeling phenomenal. I'm having multiple classes now when I play them. I'm just like, this just feels good to play, man. And coming from Druid, where it's like, I feel like it takes me a bit to actually get the build, and then everyone's having problems even getting the temperature helmet, all of these issues, and the pulverized shockwave, and having problems getting the right aspect. This character, the rogue, has the actual goat in terms of aspects. Like by action, you can basically get dungeon down, and you can get this aspect. So I see a lot of people running rogue coming in, and I see a lot of people running rogue from the minute they start the game, and I probably see a lot of people having completely different experiences with how they actually feel about the game. Rogue as compared to some of the other classes that maybe have to play. So what I've learned from Rogue is that actually it wasn't even about the Rogue, it was about the other classes, and I feel like my time playing the other classes, it feels more painful now having experienced what, in my opinion, is just a completely fun, completely strong, highly mobile, very enjoyable level 150 class. Maybe at 50 plus, I might keep playing the rogue and see a little bit higher levels, but the 1 to 50 experience feels borderline flawless as a rogue. With that being said, come on by the live streams. I will be live 11 a.m. PST every day of the Druid, and then I pick up the rogue, and due to the fact that this twisting blades is so good early with the poison, I'm just shredding literally everything. And then I have the mobility on top of it, and the class is actually fun. I'll be honest, I almost felt stupid for playing the Druid from the beginning. Now, I'm not trying to say the rogue is OP, okay? Because I know there's other mechanics, like I know they're fairly squishy, I know there's downsides to the rogue, okay? And to be honest, actually from the beginning, I tried the barrage instead. I was like, let me try the bow. I want to be the bow guy. So I did like the heart seeker, and I kind of went through the barrage, etc. But even without me like Googling a build and then trying to min-max whatever, I just went and was like, okay, well now let me try the dagger. So my buddy Bellshot picked up that, added in the poison, added in the obvious passives. I'm sure I got something wrong. I didn't step poison dash or whatever. But it almost didn't matter. All I needed was the combination of basically...
Whether you're breaking a sweat, blend of protein because the more good you put in, the more you get out. Grand Canyon University's BSN online degree program makes earning your bachelor's in nursing possible. Balanced online coursework with local universities will prepare you to lead as a professional in the time leaving room for what matters. Achieve your goals with your personalized plan and team behind you. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Poison imbuement. I needed the combination of twisting blades that orbit speed, and then I needed a little bit of lucky hit chance. That was just the boss. That's about it. And there's this combo that when you have a pool of toxins below you, you can continue to refly your poisons over and over and over again. So you can spam your poisons, which does damage over time. Then you do the insight, which will give you unlimited energy, okay, for 4 seconds. So you can spam non-stop poison unit with non-stop twisting blades, and you just get this effect of just constantly just draining the damage just ridiculously fast. Here, I'll demonstrate it on the world boss. Alright, here we go, world boss time. So effectively what I'm going to do is going to get marked. We're going to try to get the infinite energy. We're going to use poison, okay? So here we go. We got poison going. Now the twirling of the blade goes on around us, and we can keep doing more. I'm not ready yet. Now we have infinite energy, right? So we're going to here. We're going to try to spam the energy when we get the expanding. worse or better depending upon how you look at it. From what I understand, people have asked, as soon as I started thinking, I'm like, guys, you know the strongest that I have ever felt on any character at any time. I'm talking right now, I feel stronger than my level 100 druid. I'm not saying obviously I'm saying in terms of the mobs I'm killing, which is the power that I feel like the GOAT when I'm playing the rogue, and I'm doing it from having like one legendary two legendaries that actually matter: the poison imbued, puddle that you lay that you kind of need, and then other than that, your twisting blades. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they'll do something, but they don't really. It's not really. It's like two legendaries, and then GG, you're a god, basically, which is a completely different experience. Like I needed unique, I needed a whole build, I needed somewhat good secondary. Rogue was like, go on, literally whatever, who cares, because I don't even need the extra damage to get the right stats, because I just kill everything literally anyway. And from what I hear in the late game, it actually just gets better. Like that tell the deck is off, do this on live stream, by the live stream, and it's just, I came into this with a very fresh perspective. I saw my friends do it, I didn't go watch it on the film. I started with a bow, and I was like, okay, barrage feels kind of okay, artsy, whatever, you know. And then I like, everyone's talking about, and it just felt so good that I was just like, damn it. So I have really 2 points in this video. One is, if you want to play the rogue, because the rogue is super fun. Like, it's super fun. The twisting blades feel super good. I feel like I'm going through the content the quickest out of any of the classes I've ever played, and it actually feels ridiculous. And number 2 is, I have now changed my mind. I no longer believe that after playing, I played friends are blowing past me, just leveling faster, doing the daggers. I know twisting blades. Actually, from the beginning, I tried the barrage instead. I was like, let me try the bow. I want to be the bow guy. So I did like the heart seeker, and I kind of went through the barrage, etc. But even without me like Googling a build and then trying to min-max whatever, I just went and was like, okay, well now let me try the daggers. I know twisting blades are pretty good. I saw my buddy Velshot play this next to me. Picked up that, added in the poison, added in the obvious passives. I'm sure I got tons of this wrong. I think people use shadow step. I'm using dash or whatever. But it almost didn't matter. All I needed was the combination of basically poison imbuement. I needed the combination of twisting blades that orbits me. And then I needed a little bit of lucky hit chance. Shadow step for the boss. That's all I really needed. That's about it. And there's this combo that when you have a pool of toxicness below you, you can continue to reapply your poisons over and over and over again. So you can spam your poisons, which does the damage over time. Then you do the inner sight, which will give you unlimited energy, okay, for 4 seconds. So you can spam non-stop poison imbuement with non-stop twisting blades, and you just get this effect of just constantly just draining the damage just ridiculously fast. Here, I'll demonstrate it on the world boss. All right, here we go, world boss time. So effectively what I'm going to do is going to get marked. We're going to try to get the infinite energy. We're going to use poison, okay? So here we go. We got poison going. And now the twirling of the blade goes on around us, and we can keep doing more poison. Cool. Now we have infinite energy, right? So what we're going to do is shadow clone here. We're going to try to spam the energy when we get the infinite energy, and then we keep spamming the poison in view. And the damage is just really, really, really good. But it kind of gets worse or better depending upon how you look at it. From what I understand, and from the people I've asked, because as soon as I start feeling this way, I'm like, guys, I'm only level 47, and I feel the strongest that I have ever felt on any character at any point. I'm talking right now, I feel stronger than my level 100 druid. I'm not saying, obviously the druid hits more damage, but I'm saying in terms of the mobs I'm killing versus the power that I feel, I feel like the GOAT when I'm playing the rogue. And I'm doing it from having like one legendary two legendaries that actually matter. The poison imbued puddle that you lay that you kind of need. And then other than that, your twisting blades. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they would. One legendary two legendaries that actually matter. The poison imbued puddle that you lay that you kind of need. And then other than that, your twisting blades. I mean, the other ones, yeah, sure, they would.
Time to do that. I need time to do that. I need time to do that.
not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I need time to do that. Time. I need more time. Time to do that. I need more time.
Time to do that. Time to do that. I'm not ready yet. Can't carry anymore. I'm not ready yet. Can't carry anymore. I need more time. My bags are full.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
Skins of leather and steel, gently used. Thank the light you're here. My boy, I think he's possessed.
Worry not, Peter. The cathedral will not abandon you.
Oh, battle. Fair bit of magic in that one. It seems your prayers have been answered. Very nice. Not much, is it? Until next time.
I'm not ready yet. What? I'm not ready yet. I need time to do that. Locked. It's locked.
My neighbors, I beg you, the burnings fast. The Zakarum are not ridding the land of heretics. They are destroying the people who have loved and protected you for generations. It is we, the witches of the swamp, who hold the darkness at bay. Burning us will bring no light to Howard.
I'm not ready yet.
So many years I held it at bay. Then the Crusaders came. You were all so scared. I forgive you.
An old Zakarum monument. Looks abandoned.
Mistakes of my past will be paid in your blood, grave robber. Let our brothers rest.
It's locked. do that. I need more time. Time to do that. I need more time. I need time to do that. Time to do that. time to do that.
It's locked. I'm not ready yet. Ready yet. Time. Time. I need time to do that. I need more time. ready yet. I need more time.
Thank you.
Time to do that. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
That looks worn. I can fix it. have something so fine. The forge is always hot.
Rogue build, which I'm calling the Cold-Blooded Killer. This is the best rogue lockdown build in Diablo 4 at the moment. The build focuses on extreme lockdowns of your enemies. As the saying goes, the best offense is a good defense. Now, the build excels at freezing your enemies, and while they're frozen, that's when the Cold-Blooded Killer build dishes out massive amounts of damage with crits into the millions. Now, this is an up-close, in-your-face playstyle that includes nearly endless knockdowns, stuns, dazes, while constantly freezing enemies. This build is easy to play. It's excellent for leveling or nightmare dungeons. If this is something that interests you, then I'm about to show you how to build the near-perfect rogue CC build for Diablo 4. We're going to go over skill tree points, gear, aspects, gems, paragon points, glyphs, and basic damage combos. But before we get into that, please make sure you give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel with the YouTube algorithms, and it would be greatly appreciated. Let's jump into the skill tree. For our basic skill, we're going with Puncture and Fundamental Puncture for the vulnerability on enemies. That adds 20% damage. Core skills, we put 3 points in a Stutter Step for the added movement speed. Now you're going to put 5 points in the Twisted Blades, and you're going to see I have 9 points here. Those extra 4 points are coming from our gear, and I'll talk about that in the next section. But as you're moving down the Twisted Blades line here, make sure you go with Advanced Twisting Blades so you get the cooldown on all of your abilities as your blades return to you. Agility skills, let's put 3 points into Concussive, and you're going to see here that after knocking down an enemy, you gain 12% increased critical strike chance. Now that synergizes nicely with Stutter Step, which when you critically strike, you get that 15% movement speed. So those two synergize nicely. Put 3 points into Weapon Mastery. Let's go up to Shadow Step and Methodical Shadow Step. Subterfuge skills, we have a lot going on here. We have 3 points into Exploit, 1 point in Agile, 2 into Mending Obscurity. Now moving over to Poison Trap, we're going to go all the way down and go to Countering Poison Trap, along with having Concealment and Countering Stealth. Imbuement skills, we want 3 points into Precision Imbuement for that added increased critical strike chance. Moving over to our Cold Imbuement. Now I have 9 points here. 4 of those points are coming from my gear, so make sure you put 5 here. And this added blended cold imbuement is crazy important for the build, and here's why. So you have a 20% chance to instantly freeze your enemy. When your enemy is frozen, you deal 60% extra damage, and it's going to be amplified greatly because of the way we have our Paragon board set up. And that's going to go into the several hundreds of percentage points when your enemy is frozen. So therefore, you're going to get those crits into the millions. So make sure you have it set up like this. You're going to be looking for gear that has these added bonuses, which we'll talk about in a second. But once the enemy is frozen, it adds tremendous damage. For our ultimate skills, we have 3 into Trap Mastery, 3 into Adrenaline Rush, and 3 into Haste. Our key passive is Exposure, and there's a big, huge reason for this. So when you drop traps, you're going to drop these stun grenades. Also, when we're in stealth and we come out of stealth, we're going to drop stun grenades. Those stun grenades have a massive chance to instantly freeze your enemies. And again, when your enemies are frozen, you're doing massive amounts of damage. So this as I've tested, is doing way more damage than close quarter combat. Give it a try, test it out. It's massively improving your damage. For our headpiece, we have the damage reduction aspect, but the most important thing you want to look for on the headpiece is that +4 ranks of cold imbuement. That's what really truly starts to amplify the damage even more, especially when they're frozen. Chest piece, now we have added armor here. I find that this aspect, along with the damage reduction, these two are pretty much mandatory in any rogue build. Taking a look at the gloves, the most important thing here is added ranks of twisted blades. And if you can get that +4, excellent. If you only have 2 or 3, that's okay too. Now, alternatively, you could use Frostburn. And as I was testing this out, yes, you do freeze enemies more, but with the +4 ranks of twisted blades, you're doing way more damage. So this is a much better setup. And along with that, we have the aspect here that is the game changer for the build. So chilled enemies hit by your grenade skills have a chance equal to double your critical strike chance to be instantly frozen. My critical strike chance is 34, so that's a 68.5% chance that enemies will be instantly frozen as soon as you come out of stealth. And as that happens, you're doing increased damage, multiplied damage as they're frozen. So definitely make sure that you have this aspect. If you do not have this aspect ready to go for the build, do not go with this build yet. This is hugely critical to the success of the cold-blooded killer build. For legs, you want the aspect so when you hit an elite enemy, you get a barrier, and that's exactly what you're going to be doing. Every single pack or boss you go into is going to be an elite. So as soon as you have that first hit on the enemy, you're going to have the barrier. Therefore, you can drop all your traps, you can spam all your abilities. For our boots, we have Penitent Greaves. This is best in slot for the cold-blooded killer build. You chill everything around you instantly, and you do added bonus damage. Now on your crossbow, the most important thing is make sure you get critical strike damage. And along with that, our aspect is Twisted Blades. It amplifies our damage to double. So make sure that you put the Twisted Blades aspect on your crossbow. Moving over to the amulet, the most important thing here is plus ranks of Frigid Finesse. Make sure you're looking out for that. Along with having that extra shadow step is absolutely critical to it. You can zip around the map, you can stun your enemies, you can get out of danger. You're basically unkillable because you're zip-zapping around the map, you're freezing everybody, and Shadow Step is basically your get-out-of-jail-free card, so make sure you have that. Taking a look at the rings, you definitely want to have this aspect right here, the Poison Trap aspect, before you start this build. If you don't, please don't start it. You're not going to have the effectiveness that you need. So as you come out of stealth, you can drop 4 traps without breaking stealth. And as soon as those traps activate, you're most likely going to drop a bunch of stun grenades. And as you come out of stealth, you're dropping more stun grenades, instantly freezing all enemies around you. This is really important for the build. On our other ring, we have attacking enemies with a basic skill increases your core skill, which is Twisted Blades, by up to 30%. So you're going to do that all the time, having that extra added bonus with Twisted Blades. And on your rings, you definitely want to be looking for max life and critical strike chance. It just really helps the build overall. Alright, moving over to our melee weapons. This is very, very important. Make sure you have dual swords, not daggers. Big reason for that. Take a look at the extra critical strike damage on swords. Now, daggers don't have this inherently. You can re-roll as the champion to get it, but you can always have that on your sword. So make sure you have dual swords. As you can see here, my critical strike damage is pretty high, but as we have the Caravan board set up, this critical strike damage gets into the 500% range, and I'm not even min-maxed on my gear yet. But moving over to the aspects, you definitely want to have these two. So as I've mentioned a few times, as you break stealth, you're dropping that stun grenade, you're freezing your enemies, and it takes about 2 seconds to set up all 4 traps and to start whipping out that damage. So this amplifies your attack power greatly. Gems on your gear, you want to have damage reduction, but what I'm also noticing is that the max life is helping too. So you're not crowd controlled often because when you start the fight, you're freezing everybody. And if you're hitting those critical strikes, you're basically just wiping them out immediately. So I put max life here. You can test this out. You can switch these up. It's really not that important. But what is important is that you put the critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies on all of your weapons, along with having the skulls on your amulet and rings. And our specialization is combo points. Alright, this is our starter point. I will include a link down in the description so it'll be a little bit easier for you to follow up on this. But I want you to follow through with me in this video so I can explain a couple of things here. So the first lift that you want to put in is for closer. It amplifies your cutthroat skill damage, which is twisted blades, dramatically. So just make sure you're filling this out so you're maximizing that damage with cutthroat. For our second board, it is exploit weakness, and for your glyph, you want to put in frost feeder that amplifies your damage to all chilled enemies. And again, every single enemy you are going to be hitting is going to be chilled at least, most likely frozen. So therefore, you're amplifying your damage on that one also. Third board is Leyrana's Instinct. Our glyph is combat. Huge reason for that. As you can see, it's a massive increase in your critical strike damage, along with giving you energy back when you critically strike, and you're going to be critically striking often. So this is pretty mandatory for the build. For the fourth board, we have Tricks of the Trade, which is basically a 25% increase in your damage. Now our glyph is control, and this is going to be adding even more damage to crowd-controlled enemies. And literally every single enemy you are attacking is crowd control. Here's how the combo works with this build. So make sure you have your imbuements on your weapons, go into concealment, drop all 4 traps, come out, hit your basic ability, spam Twisted Blades, and they're gone. That is going to wrap up the cold-blooded killer rogue build for Diablo 4. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned something new, please consider supporting the channel by liking, commenting, or subscribing so you don't miss any future Diablo 4 videos. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm out.
Hyundai Elantra wins every time. Get 0.99% APR on the 2023 Elantra or up to $750 bonus cash. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
A lot of people
Papa?
Not it!
No!
I don't know if you've noticed, but if you have a Windows laptop...
Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a good look.
I'm gonna say hard 4.
What? That's kind of low. What could be better?
Well, your foundation doesn't match your neck, you got fake tits, and your eyes are kind of spread far apart.
How do you know they're fake?
Just by the whole overall body size, that does not match up.
That was kind of rude. Thank you. Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a good look.
I'm gonna say hard 4.
What? That's kind of low. What could be better?
Well, your foundation doesn't match your neck, you got fake tits, and your eyes are kind of...
How do you know they're fake?
Just by the whole overall body size.
That was kind of rude. Thank you. Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a good look. That's kind of low. What could be better? How do you know they're fake?
Just by the whole overall body size. That is not match.
That was kind of rude. Thank you. Rate me on a scale from 1 to 10, but first, take a good look. How do you know they're fake?
Just by the whole overall body size, that does not match up.
That was kind of rude. Thank you. Wait.
I say when, just say when, and I will fang it. Come on, mate, unleash me.
It doesn't matter which class you play, we got a huge W today from the Diablo update. Patch notes are revealing massive buffs to every single class. That's right, for the first time ever, even barbarians got a ton of buffs. Every class is getting buffs to damage on almost all of their abilities. The cooldowns are being reduced of also almost all of their abilities. Resource regeneration is getting buffed, and also the duration of effects is being extended. On top of that, some of the legendary aspects for each class are even getting buffed themselves. So we're gonna see a huge shift in the meta, and everything that felt a little bit weak is gonna get a little stronger, and things that felt really strong are probably also gonna get a little bit stronger. So there's some great news for the future of Diablo. It looks like the issues a lot.
Pro-choice always made sense to me, because I don't like people telling me what to do. And I always just like, it's your body. Who the f am I to tell you what to do with your body? So that always made sense, all right? However, I still think you're killing a baby. See? That's where it gets weird. It's not a baby yet. That would be like if I was making a cake and I poured some batter in a pan and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor, and I went, what the f***, you just ruined my birthday cake? And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. It's like, well, it would have been. If you didn't do what you just did, it would have been a cake in 50 minutes. Something happened to that cake, you cake murderer, son of a...
I'm not ready. It's like, there are people at WNBA games. They go, f*** you, you're 50% of the population. Get your asses out in the stands.
Pro-choice always makes sense to me, because I don't like people telling me what to do.
Papa?
Not it!
Nope.
How many billion Earth-like planets exist?
In the galaxy, 20 billion, something like that. It's 1 in 10 stars.
So the odds of complex life out of our incredibly fortunate situation, but the odds of that occurring on any of these billions of other planets that exist?
We don't know, but let's say the Earth is, let's say it was on the fortunate side. So we're talking about, give or take, 4 billion years, right? From the origin of life to now. And we have a civilization now, and we've had it. Our species has been around, what, 250,000 years or something? So it's just now, basically. So let's say 4 billion is on the fortunate side. Let's say that it was double that, or triple that on the average. Suddenly, that's the age of the universe, right? That's a third of the age of the universe it took. So how many of those worlds have been stable for 3 or 4 billion years? That's quite a tall order, actually.
How many billion Earth-like planets exist?
In the galaxy, 20 billion, something like that. It's 1 in 10 stars.
So the odds of complex life out of our incredibly fortunate situation, but the odds of that occurring on any of these billions of other planets that exist?
We don't know, but let's say the Earth is, let's say it was on the fortunate side. So we're talking about, give or take, 4 billion years, right? From the origin of life to now. And we have a civilization, and we've had it. Our species has been around, what, 250,000 years or something? So it's just now, basically. So let's say 4 billion is on the fortunate side. Let's say that it was double that, or triple that. Suddenly, that's the age of the universe. Right? And that's a third of the age of the universe it took. So how many of those worlds have been stable for 3 or 4 billion years? That's quite a tall order.
How many billion Earth-like planets?
I didn't think you would make this haven. Saw us a family. Family's doing just fine. Busy. You know, orders that kill them. Well, one done with one kid. Soon, all will be fine. Where's the key? No accounting for a tape. Forget this your destiny. Or is it another one of your cons? Waited 20 years for me, though. What's another 20 seconds? I didn't think you would make the same mistake twice. And you didn't. Did you? So it's a family. Family's doing just fine. Busy. Need a vacation. Or it is that kid of yours is a chip off the old block. Well, one does what one can. He's in the other room. Boys will be boys. With King.
I'm not ready.
No accounting for a taste. Yeah, spirit this time. You're not that.
Watch what happens when Tori finds out what the orange button's for.
Whoever killed this hunter wanted him to suffer.
Watch what happens when Tori finds out what the orange button's for. Watch what happens when Tori finds out what the orange button's for. Watch what happens when Tori finds out what the orange button's for.
I need time to do that. I'm not ready yet.
I got my speed the same way Barry did. When I got struck by the dark matter and electricity, I became Zoom, the fastest man alive. I wanted more. I wanted to be faster. So I created a speed drug. Velocity 9. It made me faster than I ever thought possible. Fast enough to break the dimensional barrier. Fast enough to run to other universes. And then one day, I discovered Speedster. And a little idea I had for fun. See, I got tired of being the villain. I even borrowed his name. Jay Garrett. I got my speed the same way Barry did. When I got struck by the dark matter and electricity, I became Zoom, the fastest man alive. I wanted more. I wanted to be faster. So I created a speed drug. Velocity 9. It made me faster than I ever thought possible. Fast enough to break the dimensional barrier. Fast enough to run to other universes. And then one day, I discovered him. He's another speedster? And a little idea I had for fun. You see, I got tired of being the villain. I even borrowed his name. Jay Garrett. I got my